don't know what the strategy is now. If you go to Peace Corps right now, do they talk about that support with technology and how technology can connect you more? So I don't know what that's like now, but it seems that it should be a little bit easier. Like, here's how you can support your loved one while they're overseas.
I agree.
Because transportation is better, technology is better. So I mean, there's ways that we can do it. I think it's even more. It should be easier now, just because of just technology and getting more people aware. And then, you know, the young people now have even if they don't have a laptop or a tablet, everybody got a cell phone and access to the internet. So people have been around the world virtually, maybe and maybe not engaging in a way of drilling down, but people have seen other places. So I think Peace Corps really need, in my opinion, if they're not doing it already, I'm not quite sure, but really to take advantage of all of those things, and really, if they want to tap into people of color, Black people, those, to me, in my opinion, some ways that we can do it to really get those numbers up right now. So just ideas and strategies, you know, and you can test things out. I think a lot of times we're afraid of saying the word pilot. If we say, well, we want to focus on the Northeast, really push for people of color, Black people, to join Peace Corps. Let's focus in on those schools just on the Northeast. Let's pilot some things out and see how we increase those numbers. So, I mean, there's ways that we can do it. Now the technology and this global economy or global nation world that we live in now, to me, seems a little bit easier to promote.
No, I agree with you. They're definitely, and Peace Corps is using some of that technology as well. But yeah, we definitely have to incorporate that in our, in their recruitment efforts and so on. And I
do think also that we need to break down those stereotypes about Africa. I think it's sad that it's after all these years that's still there. So something is a bigger monster somewhere out there that's promoting that. And so, but I do think the millennial are, in my opinion, are more conscious than we were, you know, as far as being more Afrocentric. So I do believe that. And so with those movements that's happening, you know, with Black Lives Matter, with this whole issue around race that popped up last year, I think there's a way that Peace Corps can really tap into it and really bring some awareness around countries. You know, it can be, you know, just around the world. So those are just some ideas I think Peace Corps can really step up their game and get more Black people engaged.
Most definitely. And the thing is, I'm hoping that we can do this so we won't have to be talking about the same issues 10 years later.
Yeah, because it's kind of crazy right now.
It's because 30 years ago it was the same issues where we were talking about diversity and the lack of more African Americans serving in the Peace Corps. And 2020 we're still talking about that.
But Les, you made a good point. I think that support system needs to be, and I don't know how to look at Peace Corps funding, but how do they add more support when you're dealing with people of color going overseas, and how do you prep their families and not just give them a brochure or a booklet, but really prep them along the way, check in with the family, someone from the Peace Corps staff to do it and not just the individual that's overseas. So how do you engage the family while that child or while the individual is overseas? You know, so there's ways to do it. It can be done. It's just really sitting down and testing some things out.
So the good thing is that we're not the only one who's having a dialogue about that, but I think we need to continue having the dialogue, and it shouldn't be only during African American or Black History Month. You know, the great thing is there are some groups out there like the Black Peace Corps group and you know, on Facebook, and you know, the other smaller groups. You know, there's the Southern Associated Black Peace Corps Volunteer Group as well. But we need to continue having the dialogue and also just pushing Peace Corps. You know, the National Peace Corps Association advocate for Peace Corps all over, return Peace Corps volunteers and current volunteers. Well, we need to keep advocating as well for African Americans, return Peace Corps volunteers, and African American potential volunteers, and pushing Peace Corps to do, you know, what they need to do. Even sometimes when we see that they're doing some good, but still lacking, you know, and I hate to even say it because, you know, money is not always the answer, but
oh, it is to me. make me a line item. Okay. Here's my plan. Make me a line item. Money to me is important.
but I seen where money can be effective. You know, so but I also seen where Peace Corps put some money into it and then take money out of it, diversity recruitment, but they need to consistently keep that money in diversity recruitment and push the button, push the envelope, look outside the box, and so on. So
I think
and they've been supported in some cases, but then because of the 5-year rule, you have different administration that supports it, then a different administration changes it. So those are the things that that's going to be ongoing with the 5-year rule, but we need some more consistency. Go ahead.
Pilot. Just pilot some things. And Peace Corps in and out, as far as some of the policies. So I think just pilot some things and test some things out. Give it a timeline and see, where it goes. So that's just my suggestion, Leslie.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that our viewers give some suggestions as well, because I don't think I've done that enough. I'm talking to our viewers who thank you for watching. Put your 2 cents into it too. Put your voice and what you think we need to do. And it's not just for Black History Month. This is throughout the whole year. We need to have this conversation, continue this conversation. But I want to also move on and not only talk about Peace Corps. I really admire this, I would say young man. But I think
48, 49.
Oh yeah, so I can say young man because I still got some years over him. Because he's doing a lot of the stuff that I really, I'm physically, like wow, okay, and so let's talk a little bit about, what you're doing in the community. We could, throw in a little bit of Peace Corps in there as well.
Sure.
So.
What do in the community?
Yes. Tell us about your.
So what, I want to tell you this, Leslie. I think I told you this when I taught Bambara. And another thing to all the viewers, you do get language training when you come back, and there's a lot of us that still speak the language very well. So when I first came back, I taught Bambara, which is the African language for Mali. So I taught that to the kids, just basic stuff, days of the week, how you doing, things of that nature. But the question was what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, what you doing? Because you've been doing it for 15 years, and
so our big push right now is really housing development, and so we're in the process of doing some renovation of 10 units in the city to make more affordable housing. Not affordable housing, but make it take individuals that are renting to become landlords. So a homeowner that's a landlord, meaning that you have a 2-unit house. You live in one and you rent out one. And as you know, during the mortgage crisis, in 2008, 9, 10, a lot of Black people lost their wealth. And for Black people, most middle class, most of our wealth is in our home, and then like in our 401k, and then education as well too, to move up. And so one of the things that we're trying to do as an agency is to really bring back home ownership. But not only be a home ownership, but also be a landlord. So we're going to be renovating 10 units. 5 buildings with 2 units each, and then qualifying people to be landlords and rent out the units to build up their wealth. We're doing business development. We're working with entrepreneurs and moving them from an informal market to a formal market, meaning someone that may have a hustle, and how to take their hustle to go to a next level, providing them with the accounting system, marketing, make sure that they have the right tax ID so that they can qualify for grants and loans. So moving them along. Youth, we're doing midnight basketball and boxing. We stopped because of the pandemic, but starting hopefully in June, we'll get back and doing that. And then we're doing a lot of green infrastructure work, meaning taking vacant lots and turning them into active spaces, outdoor spaces, gathering spaces, and also doing tree nursery as well too. So that's the bulk of our work that we're doing. But a lot of that, really the core values or the core training that I did come from Peace Corps, really just building up these relationships to get the work done. Like I said, we're a small nonprofit, but I build up relationships to help us move and navigate, and to also get resources. Once again, we need resources. You need a plan as well too, and you also need resources as well too. So they both, to me, in my opinion, go hand in hand. Make me a line item. If you love me, if you like me, make me a line item. So that's the work that I'm doing currently right now. And then also, I'm a politician as well too. So if you do nonprofit work, you also kind of navigate some of the political. So I'm an elected official working in the city of Detroit and we're revising our city charter. The city charter is basically like the constitution for the city and how that manage or navigates, the politician and how the city is ran. So we're doing that right now. So that's.
And that's it. I'll nudge in some Peace Corps in there. So just from your work, you see, people always ask us, so how does Peace Corps experience translate into real time? And I could just go ramble off a whole list, but this is a perfect example because in your job currently, you are working with the people, correct? You're working grounds up. You even live in the area that you work in. Same thing as Peace Corps. You are working with the people. You are finding their needs and then trying to cooperate on what they have and what they bring to the table to your ideas and get a better product. And this is exactly what you're doing. So from what you've done in Peace Corps to what you're doing now, it's a perfect.
Same thing. I mean, at Peace Corps, you work with limited resources. You have to build relationships to get the job done. No different than what I'm doing right now. Working with limited resources, but have to build relationships to move the product and get the job done. So it's a great transition from Peace Corps to what I'm doing right now. But that's any job. Any job. If you're in Peace Corps, you got to build those relationships. Yep. You have to rely on individuals to help you get done. Absolutely. No matter if you come back here a lawyer or a doctor doing media work that you're doing. I mean, all of that help build that skill. And when you come back here, you'll be much stronger and better in what you're doing. So to me, it's a great experience. It was a great experience. It is a great experience because it connects you to individuals that you never thought that you'll be connected with. It opens your eyes up to things that you never thought you'll see. So for me, it just gives you that competitive edge, and it also gets our perspective thinking differently. And how when things are limited, you don't feel limited. You know how to navigate things and not fall apart. So to me, those are things that I learned the most. That funding is important, don't get me wrong. However, if funding is not there, what do you need to do to make it happen? And I think those are the things that Peace Corps taught me, and I bring those skill sets here now, currently in my position.
So we're going to our 60th, well, as Return Peace Corps Volunteers, we could say but Peace Corps as an agency is going to its 60th anniversary. What would you hope to see accomplished? And then this is post coronavirus, of course, and it's diversity recruitment and diversity, inclusion. Just seeing more, and I'm gonna get right to the nitty gritty. African Americans represented not only as volunteers but as also staff.
Of course.
How do you see that play out?
So I do think that, and we made some good points early on, I do think that if we can really make those connections, bring current volunteers, bring return Peace Corps volunteers, talk about their experience and how those skill sets you learned as a volunteer translated over to your current job and what are you doing right now. I do think if Peace Corps is really serious about the third goal, they should really drill down and do special recruitment for individuals that may want to become, for an example, a country director. You go through the website, you see the kind of like the general requirement, but if you're really serious about diversity, really serious about bringing more Black people into management role, executive role, those are some of the things that you have to do to reach out to get these individuals. Because if we're doing this third goal, well, this third goal should be good enough, strong enough to get at least into these executive positions, or at least an interview, and really make that connection. I think that you're making the connection out in the community with doing these spotlights, but it has to happen on every level. It's the National Peace Corps Association should be doing it. Peace Corps Corporation should be doing it. Individuals, what you're doing is doing as well too. Making all those connections, coordinating. So to me, if they're serious about just not celebrating, but here's what we're going to do in the next 2 years, and don't have these lofty plans, 5 years, 10-year plans. We're going to do this in the next 2 years, and here's how we're going to do it, and really spell it out with funding to get things done. So,
well, again, I appreciate you giving us the time. Sharing your experience, and one thing we jumped into a more present time, but I'm curious, and I'm sure potential Peace Corps volunteers curious. How was your experience in Mali?
It was great. It was great. I had no issues whatsoever. I mean, beyond the language, I mean, it took me, 3 months of training and then 6 months of just being out in the field. So it almost took me 9 months to get the language down. But after that, after you master, the language just comes. Once you get it, you're like, wow. So after I got the language, it was great. I mean, you know how to navigate. I know how to work. To me, it was an awesome experience. I don't remember ever getting homesick. Because I didn't come home on my vacation time. I just traveled.
Oh wow.
And so one thing that when I was there, I took advantage of the moment. Like, I did not say, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to try this. I'm gonna really experience it and maximize it, and work with individuals who were on the chicken farm. Work with individuals who were at Carthagena Bank, and really use my skill set. But not just use my skill set, but also learn as well too. Because I knew nothing about working on the chicken farm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just animal husbandry. So I knew nothing about that. And so really just learning all of those skills. Mm-hmm. But I knew about marketing. I knew about getting business cards. I knew about networking. So it was really an exchange of information to make that particular business better. So my experience was to me outstanding, and I don't remember anything negative. I mean, you get sick, of course, here and there, because your body's going through changes, but I don't remember any negativity. And to me, it was a really good experience. Another thing we didn't talk about was that a lot of Peace Corps volunteers, the ambassadors are there as well too, and a lot of senators come over as well too to visit. And so for those individuals that are thinking about getting into politics, Peace Corps is a good segue to begin that journey, because the ambassadors are there, senators are there. So we were able to meet a lot of those individuals during that time. So.
Oh yeah, I agree. One way definitely to network on Peace Corps, you meet people that you normally wouldn't meet if you were stateside, and you're respected in a certain way because of what you do. So you do get to actually work with a variety of different people from different arena of the international field. Depending on what your project is, you can actually work with ambassadors, consulars. You can work with different NGOs. So yes, then definitely, especially with the with high tech now, it's easy to connect with people and stay connected with them as well once you connect with them. So before, we were using pen and paper.
It was difficult.
And so I could go on about the plus of joining Peace Corps or something like that. I usually ask my guests, what was your high, if you had one? What was your high and what was your low in your service?
I'll start with the high, and then I think about the low. It was a few. One, just mastering that language and really just getting that, because to me, I really wanted to not feel restraint with language, right? And really get it. So I really, really worked hard to get that language down and not struggle. So that was one high. Once I got it, I really mastered the language. You really get the accent and the gestures. Yes. So I really worked at that. I think for me, one of the highlights was when you saw the foot traffic of the chicken farm. The guy name was Doda, and his chicken farm, and really seeing the chickens being sold at the farm and then also at the market, and just really seeing that increase. I think it was an increase about 2 to 5%, and just saw the increase and just working with the individual and seeing his revenue increase. So I'm all about, what's the dollar side? Am I making a difference in your life? And one way you can see it is by funding and by money. And so one of the things that I tried to do was to do that. And so just really seeing that. And then also the youth. The youth was very fun as well too. So we did a lot of fun activities with the youth. We had a going back to school rally. Bought a lot of supplies and gave them out, and worked with the different businesses in the community as well too. So just really. Those are the highlights. Just really being engaged and really seeing the difference from me being there. And so that was to me. Those are the highlights, and really seeing that. I don't remember seeing any low. So I just don't remember. I'm pretty sure there were lows. I just can't think of them right now. so like I said, my experience was just outstanding. And for those that are thinking about Peace Corps, I think that you really got to think about, once I get it, I love experiences, but how do you turn this experience into something that would improve my quality of life? Meaning increasing salary, meaning I can start my own business. And so I believe Peace Corps can give you that. I mean, one low-hanging fruit could be language. You know, you can walk away with some language skills, translating. You can do that on the side. You can teach it. So there's so many ways that we, you know, individual can really better themselves. And language skills is there because to me, they did the Peace Corps can do that. Peace Corps does an outstanding job, or is doing an outstanding job as far as learning a different language, right? I mean, they just, I don't know if they put a chip in our head or what, but
it's true.
It is amazing how you like, I never thought I could speak a different language, right?
Yep.
I mean,
I think Foreign Service considers Peace Corps language training as one of the top trainings, of course, you know. And you bring up something, you know, there's tangible and intangible benefits and so on, but one thing that return Peace Corps volunteers will always agree on is that you go there to help, but you really get more out of it.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. You really get more out of it. I mean, that's not the initial intention of Peace Corps, but it's just a fact. And I think 60 years of it, from the first serving Peace Corps to the current serving Peace Corps, who really realize it will say the same thing, you know, so.
And it's not a feel good. I think sometimes people think we talk about these stories just to feel good. That's true. That's one aspect of it. But there are some things that you walk away and that make your life better and increase your quality of life, your income, your, you know, all of that good stuff. So it's a combination of both that I think that Peace Corps gives, not just the, you know, the kumbaya.
Of course not. You know? Yeah. So. I could talk to you forever, of course, but I want to thank you once again for taking the time to come and speak to me, the Geeking Out.
Yes.
You know, again, you know, the Geeking Out is about things I like, and I geek about Peace Corps and travel. And you've actually shared both, and community service. So you actually shared 3 things, you know, that I geek out about. You know, do you want to leave our audience with anything before we leave?
No, that's just a shout out to you, man, because you've been doing this for a while. This is really, really awesome just for you to really bring spotlight to Black people that have done Peace Corps, that are doing Peace Corps. So a shout out to you and bringing this information to a broader audience who have done the experience and may have probably just forgot about it, and you bringing light to, or individuals that are thinking about doing Peace Corps, you know. So shout out to you for doing that, and just not doing it in DC or New York, but you're going across the nation and tap it into Return Peace Corps volunteers. So shout out to you for all the work that you're doing. And if you're thinking about doing Peace Corps, I mean, there's tons of resources on the website. Leslie is one, and so, yeah, it's a good experience. It's just not for young people in their 20s. It's for all ages, at any level of your life. So it's been a real pleasure, Leslie. So thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
all
thank
right.
you.